morning. Today is the 9th of June and I've just had this lovely car delivered by MG Motor UK, who very kindly agreed that I can have this for a week. It's a 2021 MG5 EV Exclusive, obviously next to our 45 V6. It does look a little bit larger than the Rover. It's probably due to all these kind of modern standards you have to meet for crash safety regulations and all kinds of other things, as well as the electric motor and battery to within the car. I'm going to document this series of videos that I'll be making about the week we'll be spending with this car. It's going to be an interesting time. It's got a lot of places to go. Probably going to cover at least 500 miles in it this week, and also we'll be comparing it with the past. So we're going to be calling it Future Past. I won't do a full walk around of the car now. We'll do that when we get to our first destination, and I'll explain a little bit more of what is going to be happening a little bit later on when we're underway to our first port of call, which is in Hertfordshire. So viewers, here we are on the way to Hertfordshire. One of the main reasons that we're doing this is because 2 years ago, after Planetauto had done a very big road trip with an MG5 EV, they challenged me to actually drive an electric MG for a week and see what I thought of it. Because back at that point I had driven the ZS EV, but I was just a little bit unsure as to whether I could actually manage to have one of these and use it for, you know, the sort of things I normally use it for. And the time has finally come. This is what we're doing. Now, some of you will have seen that back in December 2020 we reviewed a 2021 MG5 EV Exclusive, just like this one, on the channel at Tweed Jacket Reviews, and we are very blessed to have that particular car from Summit Garage in Dudley. The thing is that when we do those videos, when we do something like Tweed Jacket Reviews, we don't have the car for very long. I think that video was filmed in 2 hours and 15 minutes, which, you know, might seem like a long time, it might seem like a short time, it depends on your point of view, but because we don't tend to have the cars for long, it's impossible with that to really get an impression of what the car's like to live with on a long-term basis in just a few hours, and that's just the way that we have to do it. It's much more efficient for us to film 3 cars together at the same time than it is to do them sequentially over the course of a few weeks, and so that's what we tend to do, and it tends to work quite well. But I wanted to actually be able to experience what it is to live with one of these cars for an extended period of time, and really the only way to do that is to get one from a manufacturer, and you know, MG very kindly offered me this one. So we've just joined the M3, and I'm currently on 170 miles of range. The top range of the car is estimated at 214 miles on the WLTP cycle, and our journey today is something like 90 miles, I think, so I've got plenty of range to get there. I'm in the economy mode at the moment. I will just set my cruise control in a second because that will help out a bit. The weather is very sunny, it's 22 degrees, so that probably will help with the range a little bit. So far all I can hear is, well, I can't really hear an awful lot. I mean, the main thing I am able to hear is a bit of wind noise, but that's probably because I've got no engine, so it kind of probably seems a little bit more than wind noise than it really would be. So yes, we'll go over to Hertfordshire, and when we get there we'll take a proper look around the car. I've got various things I've got to do on the trip planned, which includes filming 2 episodes of No Budget Reviews, and then also a comparison with the MG ZS EV that was the first one delivered to a customer in the country, owned by my friend Richard Jackson, but you would have seen a few times on the channel, both in Tweed Jacket Reviews, which would have been in October 2019, but also in October 2020 there was a 1-year ownership report of this car. So yes, that will I hope be enlightening for you to see them compared. He's certainly looking forward to it. But yes, I've got maximum regenerative braking, level 3. I'm in economy mode to get the most efficiency out of the car, and yes, it's so far it's looking very comfortable indeed. My mileage, this car is very low mileage. It's just come onto the fleet, I believe. It's done 1,674 miles, so at the end of the week we'll have a look at that and see how far we actually went. Right viewers, we have reached our first destination, which is just outside the village of Shenley in Hertfordshire. This is what is known to certain people who are fans of old British television series and films from the 1960s and the 70s as Avengerland, this area, because they filmed the Avengers from 1964 to 1969 in this area, and all sorts of other television series. These are known as the Shenley triangles. You can see a triangle of grass here and a triangle of grass here, and just the other side of that fence there is where an episode of the Avengers called Dead Man's Treasure was filmed in 1967, along with all sorts of other episodes of other television series, and these triangles are very famous for all kinds of things. So I just thought I'd come here. It's quite scenic here as well, to show the car really. So we've done about 85 miles so far today. You can see it's quite well sort of trimmed inside. Because I've already done a walk around of this car and a full review, I'm not going to go into too many details, but we've got a glove box that's big enough for secret mission documents. And this fabric here, this is the exclusive trim, which is why it has the roof rails. Now these were quite controversial at the end of last year when this car came out, because they weren't properly assessed for the weight that they could carry. They said initially they could carry 50 kilos, and then they said they were decorative only. I think they've now been reassessed at 30 kilograms. If we look at the back, you see there's plenty of room, plenty of space in here. It's easy enough to get in and out, although this sort of side of the roof does slope in. It's nice and comfortable. I'm 5'11", and I've got plenty of room with the seat roughly in where my driving position is. I've also even got 2 USB ports, and something you don't get in a ZS EV, a rear armrest with some cup holders. Now, the door tops are sort of hard, but that's par for the course really in this sort of class of car. We do get some door bins in the back as well. Come round to the back. This is the only conventional electric estate car in its class. There are plug-in hybrid ones available, like the Seat Leon and things, but this is the only fully electric one. As you can see, they call it the MG5 SW EV because there is also a sort of fastback version of the MG5 available in some other markets. In fact, the car is actually a rebadged Rowway, or Rovi, depending on how you want to say it, EI5. There is a combustion version available of the the i5 as well, which is why it's called the EI5 in some other markets. 484 litres of space, I think, in this car. We've actually got in here as well, because this is a press car, we've got a Type 2 charging cable and a 3-pin granny lead as well, which have been both given to me. It depends actually on what your dealer supplies you with as to what you actually get. Just to move some of these bags out of the way. There is the warning triangle, and there is this inflation kit. I think you probably could get a spare wheel if you wanted to. There is certainly enough room in there for one, which is amazing on an electric car. Don't quote me on that though. One thing I've noticed is there aren't really any places for tethering things in here. It's enough space. It's quite a big lip, but that's fairly common on cars of this size really. LED boot light and some places to put stuff, but nothing too extraordinary really. No electric tailgate, but you don't really need an electric tailgate on this sort of car. Reversing camera is just here, and the parking sensors. You don't get parking sensors on the front for some reason in one of these. I would open the bonnet, but it's just full of electric motor. There's not really much to see. Charging port is on the front. I should be using that relatively shortly. There we go. Type 2 and CCS in there. There we go. I don't think the light's up at night, but I might be wrong about that. I'm not sure I'll be charging at night, so I won't be able to see. Not all the lights on this car are LED. Some of them are just normal. But if you look at the back, it does actually have the SAIC, who are MG's parent company, or SAIC, they sometimes call themselves, LED technology. So we get into the front. It does feel like the car is a little bit sort of low for a modern car, and also the seating is a little bit higher than I expected. Maybe that's just modern cars. But I've been driving SUVs. The footrest in here, it just seems a little bit too close to where I am, because my knee is quite bent. It just has kind of stopping adjustment on the steering wheel, which the MG ZS EV does not, which is a big advantage. There are some softer touch materials on the door, just here and just there as well. So if we press this button, I got a bit confused today because I couldn't remember how to sort of get this sort of going, because this electric car has no indication of things. Oh, Randall Hawk deceased. Yes, filmed at Elstree Studios, which is, we might nip over to Elstree Studios a bit later and yes, pay homage to it. But if we turn the car on, I'm not going to start her up because I don't want to waste power, but we'll see. We've got conventional instruments in this car. We've got a conventional speedometer and sort of like a power gauge really. That's saying that the door is slightly open at the back. I'll have to correct that. I think I can get rid of that warning. There we go. HV battery shut off, yes, because we don't actually need that at the moment. It says we're in normal mode. I can just correct that into eco mode, because that's the way I've been driving to maximise the range. So I've got 90 miles of range left. Had 175 when I started, 185 miles, so that's very accurate. My current journey, 85.7 miles. It's been about that long, 1.4 hours, which is a bit random. My average speed's about 60 miles an hour, and I'd be efficiency of 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour. And we're on 1755 miles. So you've got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. I haven't been using the navigation. I've been actually using the navigation on my phone. I tried to use Android Auto with the phone today, but it didn't actually work, which is a bit of a pain. So I might just need a different cable, or maybe my phone's not compatible with this car. I don't know. It's quite an old phone now, so that might be something to do with it. I've got a big cubby for things up in the centre. Electronic handbrake, you can set that to automatic mode as well. There's the gear selector, park, reverse, neutral, drive. There is the selector for different driving modes, which I put into eco, and regenerative braking, which I will just flick one, and I'll have to turn the car on to do it, but I can put it into 3. That's how I normally drive. One of the nice things about this car is there are all the air conditioning controls, which is nice and handy. There is an auto mode, but it's not quite like full climate control. And then in the touchscreen there, you can actually see that it replicates what it is. So if I turn the air conditioning off, you can see that it actually changes colour as well, and it just comes up on the screen. So that's most of what is in here. We've got things like an electric mirror switch there, and there's the start-stop button, because this particular model, which is the Exclusive, has the keyless entry and the Artico leather upholstery or faux leather upholstery and things like that. Also got heated seats, 2 USB ports, 12-volt socket down there as well. Cruise control is on here, although this car isn't fitted with MG Pilot, so no adaptive cruise control. Don't think I get blind spot monitoring or lane keeping assist or anything like that. Not that you particularly need that. My wife hates that sort of stuff when she drives cars, so yes, depends on your point of view really. Right, I think we'd better take one last look at, just turn that off, take one last look at where we are, the beautiful surroundings of Shenley, just outside what is called Shenley Hall, and we will make our way to the nearest charging station, which is in Borehamwood, which is conveniently located near the studios. I wonder why that might be. Well, viewers, we've had our first problem. I was going to get the car charged at a station that is very close to the hotel where I'm staying in Borehamwood, but that station is closed at the moment temporarily. Now there's another one which is the same type of charger. It's I think it's a 150 kilowatt rapid charger in another part of Borehamwood. So I went to that one, and that was being used by someone else who wasn't with the car. The car was fully charged, and there was a gentleman in a Volkswagen ID4 waiting for the charger as well, but none of us knew where the owner of the BMW i3 that was being charged and just finished its cycle had actually gone. So I left the chap there, nothing I could do, and I've still got, I think, 84 miles of charge left, so I'll be fine for this afternoon to go out and do the filming of No Budget Reviews, but I'm going to have to come back this evening and try putting the car on charge then, which isn't really very convenient. There are so many petrol stations around here that if I'd been in a normal car with a combustion engine, I would have, well, I don't think I would have been able to fill up now anyway, because even the Rover 45 does 250 miles in a tank, so I wouldn't even need to fill that up at the moment. So future and past, I'm afraid future was great. It was a good journey here, but at the moment past it's kind of winning in terms of convenience of actually putting energy into the car. But never mind, we'll go and start doing some No Budget Reviews filming, and then we'll have to come back when I've actually managed to find a way to charge the car. Right, viewers, so we have been on charge now for a while. I'm at this Shell recharge station. This is the first place I went to, but it was closed when I first got here, but it's a few hours later now. I've had the car on charge for about 54 minutes. You can't really see in here. It's charging at 33, oh, that's because, sorry, that's kilowatt hours it's given me, 33 kilowatt hours. It says 13 here, but I don't know if that's the speed or not. 13 seems really slow to me. It's almost finished, 97%, so I'm going to just go down the road and buy myself some supper, walk by a certain place that I'm very fond of, and we'll come back and get the car later, and by then it should have finished. Yes, Elstree Studios, home of some of the finest television programmes ever made. The Avengers, The Champions, Department S, the list goes on, Return of the Saint and the Original Saint. So yes, it gives you a chance to come here. I'm not going to cross this line because that would be trespassing. But yes, I feel better now. I will grab some supper and then go back and pick the car up. So viewers, the car has been successfully charged. It took about an hour to get to 100% from 35%. Unfortunately, the app that I was told to use, which is called Smooth, terrible name, is rubbish. Terrible. It kept crashing, it kept not accepting my payment, it was very difficult to use. I only managed to get the car charging at all because there was a contactless pad on it. It just wouldn't accept my payment properly. And I used the contactless pad, but what happened is that trying to end the charging thing, you don't just tap your card to finish it, you have to use the app, apparently, to do it. And it just didn't work at all. It just kept crashing, and eventually I had to use the emergency stop on the charger to do it. Why you have to use an app to use a charger, I don't know. InstaVolt, you don't have to do that. You just tap your card and at the beginning and tap your card at the end. You don't have to download an app to use it. And particularly because the charging station was closed when I got there, and the other one on the other side of Borehamwood was occupied by someone else who wasn't even there. And then I was told there was one somewhere else and I couldn't find it. The infrastructure of electric cars in this country, just based on the experience of the first day, this is only the first day I've had the car, it's just not there. The car, so far, it's pretty good. But I don't know about this infrastructure. It's better than it was a couple of years ago, but it's still not brilliant. It's not something that you can just say to somebody that they can work out on their own. You need a lot of help to be able to use it if you're coming from just a normal combustion car. And that is a bit of a problem. So yeah, car so far, fantastic. Range seems pretty accurate. It says I've got 203 miles of range with a full charge in eco mode, which is fantastic. The thing was so confusing to use. I don't even know what speed it was charging at. I couldn't work that out, which is bad, really. I couldn't work out. I think it put in about 34, 35 kilowatt hours of power, something like that. But I just couldn't work out the charging speed, which was, yeah, annoying. Anyway, that's it for the part, the first part of future past. So far, past, well, you just put the petrol in the car. That's what you do, and that's it. So that could be a bit easier in certain circumstances. Anyway, yeah, tomorrow we're doing more stuff like driving to Warwickshire, comparing the MG5 with a ZS EV. There'll be a separate video on that you might see first before the second part. And yes, and we'll do more charging at I think it's a 3 kilowatt charger at Gilt's Garage, just near Kyneton, and then we're going to use an InstaVolt one, which is at the hotel that I'm staying at in Banbury. But yeah, thank you very much indeed for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for the next part of this. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment below, and yeah, social media links are down below. Thank you.